Hey guys, it's Scott here from Home Group Realty. I wanted to put together a video today to discuss some changes in the real estate market that have been proposed for British Columbia. So BC generally kind of spearheads changes in our industry, and the rest of the country kind of sits back and sees how they play out and then make decisions based on their findings. So the most recent announcement, nothing has been set in place yet, but there's an announcement based on what they want to do is bring in a cooling off period for the resale market. So this is standard in new builds. All builders have this cooling off condition on all their contracts. And the reason they do that is because during the cooling off period, you have a finance condition and a lawyer review condition. So what the builder wants for a new purchase is during that, normally it's 7 or 10 days. During that period of time, they want you to go to the bank, make sure everything is rock solid with your financing, and then they also want you to take their contract to a lawyer to have it reviewed. So then the liability is then shifted off the builder and onto the lawyer to make sure they find any changes that they want to make should be done during that conditional period. So they do this to make sure they have a higher percentage of close rate because that buyer has done all their work and they're happy once they go firm. Firm meaning they've waived their conditions. Okay, so they're talking about doing this in the resale market, which on paper, it probably is a great idea for buyers because it's going to allow them to have all buyers have the same offers essentially. So they're all going to have a cooling off period. It will be standard on all Schedule A's to make sure there's a condition of a cooling off period. So that allows them to have a financing, a home inspection condition to make sure all the offers are identical as far as a conditional period. Now, what this does not do is it does not address price. So right now, offers come down to price, it comes down to conditions, and if everything in the Schedule A or all the conditions are identical, the only thing that buyers can compete with is price. So this is only going to increase prices. Okay, that's the reality of what's going to happen on the ground when it comes to buying a home. If there's no other way to compete other than price, prices are just going to keep going up. Now, the cooling off period is great in the sense that it gives the buyer lots of time to figure out their financing, make sure that's in order, ideally get a home inspector through there to make sure the buyer's happy with all the findings during a home inspection. Now, what it doesn't do is it does not encourage a buyer to do their due diligence before they start shopping for homes. So right now, because we're in such a competitive market, buyers have to come to the table with everything already done. Everything's in order. Financing's in order. They likely have a letter of commitment from a lender stating, we'll allow you to purchase a home of this price with this mortgage, with this down payment, things like that. So all the due diligence now gets done before shopping happens. But what this will do is it'll allow buyers that have not done anything for their financing or anything at all, allow them to put in offers and be protected by the cooling off period. So there's definitely some hiccups with this, and I know they're working out the finer details, and I'm hoping that they come to people in the industry to have this conversation to see what could or couldn't go wrong through this process. Now, obviously, lots of pros to allow buyers more time to make decision, making sure everyone gets a home inspection, making sure everyone's financing is in order. I 100% agree with that. I know it's tough out there with buyers. We have had one heck of the last 18 months with our buyers trying to get them in, doing upwards of 10, 12 offers on different houses and finally locking one down. So it is very challenging. And I understand we need to slow the market down. But what I don't understand is why we have yet to address the supply issue that we have in Ontario or Canada for that matter. Now, some of the hiccups with this is all offers are identical other than price. So it's just going to drive the price up. So that, in my opinion, is a huge hiccup. The due diligence is a huge hiccup. So now it's being done after an offer has been done on a home as opposed to before. The other downside with this cooling off period, if it's 7 days or 10 days and a buyer does an offer on Monday, but then sees another house on Tuesday, sees another house on Wednesday, there's nothing stopping that buyer from putting offers in on all 3 homes and then just walking away from 2 of them. So now one buyer could possibly lock down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 homes in a week, locking out all the other buyers, and then they get to sit back and wait during this cooling off period to decide on which one they want the most. The other issue is a home inspection gets done during the conditional period, which is great. That's typically what it used to be like. One offer, conditional on financing, and home inspection. You do the home inspection, you find deficiencies, and the 2 agents and the buyers and sellers, they discuss on how to keep moving forward. If it's an adjustment of price or it's the seller agreeing to do a fix, whatever that may be. So my concern would be a buyer comes in, blows everyone out of the water on price, like just because that's the only way we compete right now. And then the negotiations start after the home inspection. So in the seller's eyes, say there's 10 offers on my home that I'm selling, I accept the highest offer. And then after the home inspection, they find deficiencies and we start negotiating. But the negotiations are much more aggressive because they know for me to get the other 9 buyers back again is going to be extremely hard to do. And it's not likely. So my concern would be the negotiations really, really start after the home inspection. So this could be a huge problem for sellers. I know the media talks a lot about buyers, but we also have to consider the sellers as well because they're in the market. They also have to be treated fairly. I know the market right now is definitely in a seller's market. It has been for a very long time, but I also don't want there be unfair treatment to the sellers either. Both parties should feel like they've moved forward and it was a win-win situation for everybody. So I would love to know your opinion on this approach, what BC's thinking about doing with the cooling off period. There's definitely lots of pros, especially on paper. My concern is there may be a few bad apples out there that's going to take advantage of this situation, which could upset a whole lot of other buyers as well. So if you could rate your comments below or shoot me an email, I would love to have a discussion further about this because this stuff always interests me on how they're trying to make changes to our industry. Oftentimes I think it's just a political thing because they're not actually addressing the supply. We need to streamline things for the builders and make sure they can build homes quicker. I'm not saying cut trees down. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying it's got to be a quicker process for these builders so we can build up our inventory here in Ontario, Canada, all over, across North America, basically. Anyway, any comments would be great. And if you have any opinions, I'd love to hear them as well. Talk to you later. Bye.